Hello, welcome to the Tuesday show. I'm Ultra David.
And I'm James Chen.
Excellent. Tonight, we have quite a show. Actually, that's true, we do have quite a show tonight. I feel like whenever there's a show, they always say that they have quite a show. But we do. Actually, we have a lot of stuff to talk about tonight.
Yeah.
We'll go over tournaments such as TFC and etc. We'll talk about a bunch of game news, including Street Fighter V and etc.
Yes.
We'll talk about a bunch of drama and stuff.
Yeah, well, just debates, you know, those
We'll
kind
have
of
debates.
things. Yeah.
Yes.
But, I mean, obviously we did not have a show last week, so this week we have a lot to talk about, and yeah, honestly, like, after TFC, like, I had, like, 7,000 things I wanted to talk about, and then we're like, let's wait another week. And then TGS happened, and now I have, like, another 7,000 things. Yeah, so.
Exactly.
Yeah,
sorry about not being here last week.
Vacation.
Took a little vacation, went over to the Grand Canyon and Lake Havasu.
That's
and
so sick, dude. That's so cool.
Sedona and stuff. So I was over in northern Arizona. It was nice.
You know, I've never been to the Grand Canyon yet. I've never been. I'm acrophobic, so I'm wondering if it would terrify me.
You know what the weird thing about the Grand Canyon is that the sense of scale is so gigantic that it just doesn't even seem like you're high up.
Right, yeah. So, I mean, they say that about skydiving, right?
They do.
Like, yeah, when you're skydiving, it's just like you can't get the sense of scale properly, so you don't feel scared.
Like in the Grand Canyon, when you look across the canyon, it's like you're looking at a 2D background because it's just so it's so far that your brain can't like understand it as just some regular distance. So anyway, it was quite a trip.
Did you do that thing? You know how they have that little glass bridge walkway that extends over the end?
But we did hike down into it, and when you're hiking down into it, you know, definitely you feel that it's tall more because you're like right on the side of kilos. I mean, other than that, if you don't do that, then you should be fine.
Right, yeah.
But that was fun.
I'd be terrified. Maybe, I don't know. We'll see. I'll have to go one day.
Okay. Anyway, that's why I wasn't here. Anyway, now I'm back. What do you want to talk about?
Dude, so we have 2 character announcements in Street Fighter V that we did. So in 2 weeks, they announced 2 characters, and we didn't get a chance to really talk about either of them, right?
It's funny because I remember just recently you were saying, you know, they have to get on this character reveal thing. There's not so much time left now.
Right. And sure enough, so at Dubai, they revealed Rashid, and then at TGS, they revealed Karin.
Yeah.
Now, one interesting thing, I'm just going to say this right from the get-go. I was watching a lot of the videos, and I heard the people in the background talking about Rashid in their native language, and they call him Rashid. And I'm wondering if that's actually how you're supposed to pronounce it. Like less Rashid, but more like Rashid.
Yeah, I heard the same thing. Yeah.
So,
I don't know. It'll probably be one of those situations where we just call him Rashid anyway.
Yeah, I know, right? It's going to be that way forever.
Everybody. Yeah.
So... But yeah, so both of them were announced. Very cool. So brand new character, another one of the long-awaiting returning characters that hasn't shown up in a while, that cover the 3 categories that they've hinted at, and get into that once we get into Karin, because there's some strangeness going on in those categories. But
agreed.
Rashid.
Okay, Rashid.
What do you think?
Well, it's hard to know what to think. I've seen quite a bit of gameplay now.
Oh, right. Oh, okay.
You know, the Winner Stays On guys in the UK had a nice set where there was like Problem X and, you know, other people were there.
Right.
And so they played Rashid for quite a while. I didn't get a chance to see live, but I did watch some of it later. And it's very interesting to see his gameplay. He seems like he has enough tools that he can do a bunch of different styles. Like maybe he has rushdown in him, maybe he has traps and setups, maybe he has hit and run, maybe run away. It really looked like he has all those potential things. So what I'm looking forward to is just, I feel like he's one of those characters where you don't know what you want to do immediately, which is great. I love that.
Yeah.
I like having to come up with what my game plan is, not just, okay, I'm a grappler, I know what I'm gonna do.
Right,
That's fun, but what I really like is coming up with what I'm supposed to do.
Yeah, I mean, especially since a lot of the people's complaints about the game has been it looks simple or whatever. It's nice to have a character that's kind of like that. I'm curious to see if... So his V skill makes him jump. Looks like it just makes him jump far. It gives him access to the dive kick or makes him roll, right? Does he build meter if without attacking? Like, does roll build meter? And
you know, I don't remember.
Because that's the thing, is if you could do that, maybe you could like spam the roll, build it up so you can throw out tornadoes, and maybe you can zone. Because his V trigger is he throws out like the Aegis Reflector giant tornado-ish kind of thing that then he can cross up and sandwich you and stuff like that. Right. I haven't seen a lot of gameplay of Rashid yet, so I'm not sure how long the tornado lasts or anything like that.
I would say it's like Yoga Catastrophe kind of length.
Oh, wow.
It doesn't move that far, but in terms of how long it's out.
Because if you activate it and then jump over them, you've basically given them a new corner, a new wall that can do damage to deal with, right?
Exactly,
so it's kind of interesting.
But you know, it's not just that. He also has a little tornado that he kicks up.
Yeah.
Right, so he has a kind of rising tornado.
Every time I see it, I hear the airman sound.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
It looks just like it.
It does. It does. I wonder if that is the kind of zoning tool that would be viable against all these characters who have anti-projectile V skills, because you know, all those are grounded options, and they sort of rely on like a horizontal projectile coming at them. It's visible, it's there, do the thing. Yeah, exactly. But if there's this sort of section of the screen that's like cut off rather than just across, that's sort of what I'm talking about when I say that I feel like zoning is a potential style for him. And he has that kick move where he comes in for the kick and then he bounces pretty far away.
Oh, yeah.
He has some good looking normals. He looks like he has a DP.
Some people in the chat are saying that he only builds V meter when he hits you, or I guess if you block that move. So I guess you can't just sit there and build tornado all day, because that would be kind of interesting. That would be good. Like throw fireball, roll, throw fireball, roll, throw fireball, jump, throw fireball, roll. Yeah, exactly. Be kind of interesting, but I mean, we've all been talking about how we would like to see more character archetypes in 5, so you know, I wouldn't mind to see if a zoner could work in that game.
Yeah, I think that if he's as zonery as it gets, you know, that's disappointing to me, but at the same time, he's an interesting enough style that it would probably hold me over, and I would be happy with it. But again, I don't know how he's going to play. I'm not sure he's a zoner at all. Maybe he's just a pressure character. I have no idea. Yeah. We'll see.
I mean, one thing that I noticed, though, is that when he jumps over you and he dives, he auto-corrects, kind of like Cammy's Hooligan. I was wondering, like, does that kind of make Cammy irrelevant? Because then you have a character that can do that and throw fireballs and have giant tornadoes and all that. Someone actually told me that the jump over dive is very unsafe on block. So it's more catch him by surprise or something like that than Cammy's is. So Cammy, I mean, obviously if you do it too high up, it's very punishable for Cammy, but it's very good if you can meaty time it and stuff like that. So probably still going to be a very different kind of character. So
yeah, I would think so. But he looks fun. And I'm glad that they brought in a character that is that unique. I think that's really cool.
I mean, what do you think about just the, you know, not even character gameplay? The fact that, you know, he's a Middle Eastern character. Some people were saying that he potentially looks racist or something like that. Some people were wondering why he has that little scouter glass on his eye.
That's the best question to me. The other ones, I mean, he was apparently designed in partnership with a local Middle Eastern group.
Right.
So I don't know. I mean, it's up to them if it came out racist. I guess I don't know.
I mean,
it doesn't seem like it's me, but I don't know.
Apparently, Harada also was the one who told Ono put a Middle Eastern character in there, which explains the coincidence of Shaheen and Rashid in there at the same time. And I don't even know if I want to bring this up, but I mean, a lot of people said that, you know, it was bad that they revealed them on 9/11. Okay, yeah, so that's kind of how I feel about it too.
That was so stupid.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it's like they did it in a country that's not the U.S. and the rest of the world. I mean, I don't want to say they don't care, but you know, it's not as big it's not as big of a deal to them. Yeah, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, anyway.
Like, have you ever heard somebody from the UK talk about 7/7? You don't even know, right?
Yeah, exactly.
That's when they got bombed. There was a terrorist bombing. But outside of the UK, it's like nobody knows. I always wonder if it's the same thing for 9/11. Like, we talk about it all the time.
Right.
I don't know. Anyway, it's a very silly, silly discussion.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Now, I think he looks okay in terms of just the looks of him. Dude, Shaheen is way cooler looking.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, Street Fighter V definitely is going a lot more for the cartoony look. So a lot of people have been making Aladdin jokes with Rashid, right? Because he kind of has that look to it. And then plus another thing, you know how Capcom Fighters keeps releasing those little cards? Like, here's where they were in the previous game, or then the other card where they have the little animation where part of the card moves and stuff like that. Rashid's card says, "A friend indeed." So, like, as soon as it said that, I was like, really? You are trying so hard to, like, make these Aladdin parallels, right? Because now I'm just like, can your friend do this? Can your friend do that? You know? And then I was just like, come on, dude, don't do this.
And his intro is like, it's just he remember the name well or something?
Yeah.
Like, what's that about? Anyway, this is all stupid to me. I guess we'll find out. You know, I was kind of hoping that they would do a better story, a one-player story, just to compete with like MKX story mode or like BlazBlue or whatever else that has reasonable story modes nowadays. But I don't think that's gonna happen. That doesn't seem like
it. We'll see. I mean, look, if they forego the one-player story mode experience because, and we'll talk about this a little bit later, they are working super hard on Capcom Fighting Network and stuff like that. More power to you. More power to you. So,
but even for games that have, you know, really good competitive play, a lot of them have lore, like it's in there. Like League of Legends has like all this lore.
Right. KOF, for example,
KOF has a lot of
every
stuff,
story has those, you know, there's always like the trilogy or the quadrilogy, I don't know how many games, but they have the different stories. It started with the Arachi story, then it went to the Nest/clone story, then it went to the Ash story.
I know a little bit about that.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, Street Fighter, like, I was reading something talking about how it just, like, doesn't, like, the story just in Street Fighter doesn't make sense at all, because, like, in Nash's ending, he gets shot up in Alpha 3, but then Ryu's ending is, like, Nash is helping him in a plane.
Right.
You know, it doesn't. Someone even sent us some questions about, like, via email about lore. About like Sagat, did he actually win the first tournament and all this stuff because of the way that this wiki and I was just like, I have no idea.
Apologies, so, that is not our expertise. Not mine anyway.
I mean, look, I love lore. Obviously, you know me, I'm a lore kind of guy, right? But Street Fighter lore just makes no sense. I've pretty much given up any hope of trying to maintain that, but they have a potential to tie a lot of things together. I've seen a lot of theories about Nakali, for example. Maybe when he goes into crazy mode, that has to do with Satsui no Hado. Maybe it has to do with Gil's thing, you know, or something like that. I've seen a lot of little things, like little hints. And I think Udon just released a book called like The Death of Nash or something like that talks about how he came back and all these things like that.
Cool.
So I don't know.
No, that's great. Again, it's not something that matters terribly much for me, but I know that does draw some people in.
Oh yeah.
So
absolutely.
it's important, I think, to have it just to be as appealing as you can be.
Right. So. Look, all I'm gonna say is that Street Fighter lore, at least, is not BlazBlue lore, because that game.
That game's weird. I don't really know about it.
Like, I think New is Noel from the future, but came back in the past, and like it's like time travel, and there's just like craziness going on everywhere.
Cool.
And I remember reading about it, and I was just like, I have no idea. So
it has a character with magnet hands, so that's all I care about.
But anything else you want to say about Rashid?
No, I guess I'm just looking forward to seeing more footage from him to try to nail down a little bit better what his options are and what style he plays.
I mean, I've seen a lot of people like, oh God, not another Fuerte. We don't need another Fuerte kind of situation, because it looks like he hops around. And
I really don't think that's the case.
Yeah, and even there's one scene like where he's jumping and his arms look like Fuerte's wind pose, you know, and stuff. I don't think he's gonna play nearly the same.
Yeah.
I don't think it's gonna be comparable at all. So.
Yeah.
Okay, well, and then at Tokyo Game Show, they saved definitely a bombshell for that one. I knew they were gonna. I just had a feeling that Tokyo Game Show they were going to announce one of the characters that everybody really wanted back.
It seemed like
sure enough, they announced Karin, and I mean, a lot of people I know really wanted Karin back.
That's true.
So I honestly wasn't sure if the chances were good, because she isn't owned by Capcom and all that stuff like that, but that's what a lot of people said about Strider, and Strider made it back into UMVC3, and I'm sure Capcom just flashed a little bit of money and was like, can we use the character? So sure enough, Karin's back. So, what did you think of her?
I mean, she looks fine. I was a little bit disappointed.
Yeah.
In that character reveal. I'm happy for everybody who likes her.
Right,
I don't.
right.
There's no. I don't dislike her at all. I just was a little bit disappointed in that I felt like she looked like she played more like some other characters already did than I wanted. I just wanted to see something that was like Rashid. Like I was very happy with Rashid because he seemed like he's very different from everybody else. He has different options, plays differently, yada yada.
Right.
Karin just looks like she's like a grounded character who pressures. I don't know. It's like,
yeah, it was.
There's like 5 of those. So.
It was really interesting to me because they took all of her interesting Rekka stuff and they moved it to her V trigger.
Exactly. Yeah.
So it's almost like they were worried maybe the Rekka stuff was too complicated. They didn't want to quite put that in there, so they moved it to a V trigger, so it feels like complex mode. So you have to voluntarily go into it. So maybe that's what they were trying to do. So, but yeah, I mean, like other than that, now she just has a shoulder check. She has a little uppercut punch.
Yeah.
It didn't seem like it was any. I mean, the funny thing is, when I watched it, she looked like a Tekken character to me. Like Derek Daniels actually said to me, it's mostly her arm poses and stuff like that are very Tekken-y and stuff like that. So I do like her character design changes.
I think she looks nice.
Yeah, with the long sleeves and the longer pants and stuff like that. So
yeah, I definitely think she looks nice.
Yeah, but I don't know. Like I was. Like, they took away her command throw. She doesn't have the command throw. She doesn't have parries anymore. It looks like they turned her counters into her alpha counter or her, what are they called? Critical reversal.
V reversal.
V reversal or whatever like that. So,
yeah.
I'm glad she's there, like you said, and I'm curious to see how she's going to play. I'm curious to see if there's going to be more to it than just another kind of in-your-face, frame-trappy kind of character.
That's how it seems, right?
Yeah, that's the prevailing gameplay style, it seems.
It does seem that way.
Yeah. But I mean, it's really interesting. Like, she had another character with a V skill that kills projectiles, but someone joked to me that there's more characters with anti-projectile V skills than there are characters with projectiles.
I think that's true.
Yeah, it's absolutely true.
Yeah.
But the thing about it, I saw video footage of it, and Karin's V skill is really slow to start up.
Yeah, I saw that too.
I mean, I saw her erase a Ryu fireball, and Ryu was free to move before Karin was from the recovery of it. So I just don't think it's going to be. I don't think it's going to be like a great anti-projectile. It's just happens to work as an anti-projectile kind of thing. So.
Yeah, I think it works against normals and other stuff too. I don't think it's just projectiles.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But funny thing about it though is that I mean all the jokes about Blonde Fighter 4. I mean.
Yeah, I don't know why that's keeping up. That seems so strange, right?
Is that just a coincidence? You think? Did it just?
Yeah, I feel like it probably is a coincidence, but at the same time, I'm surprised that nobody on the team caught it.
Right.
It just seems strange.
My favorite is still L.I. Joe. Like someone tweeted to L.I. Joe was like, before Urian rips off his suit, he's blonde.
I think that was Sanchez.
Oh, was it Sanchez? Yeah. So you know,
maybe Necro was blonde before the experiment.
God.
What about that?
Hey, his girlfriend is blonde.
There you go. Maybe she got experiment what she did, and maybe she got the same things.
Yeah, exactly. So, dude, what if Necro wasn't in the game, but Necro's girlfriend was in the game, and she stretched and attacked and stuff
awesome.
like that? That would actually be kind of.
You'd be down with that?
I would be mad because it's a stretchy character, right? Okay. So all my hatred towards Necro really comes from the fact that I hate stretchy characters, right? So when Necro was in 3, I was like, oh man, you better bring back a stretchy character. So if they made her a stretchy character, I'd probably be frustrated in the end anyway, because she'd probably turn out to be super good.
It's been a while since a stretchy character's been good in a Capcom game.
So here's the funny thing, right? In all the Street Fighter games, so this is why like Dhalsim, Blanca, and Honda are always like the characters that I would mind the least if they didn't come back. But those 3 characters have always either sucked or been way too good. And it's just because their character archetype is so hard to balance. I know I've mentioned this like 7,000 times on the show. But I mean, just the way that they're designed, it's really hard to balance them. The reason why I wouldn't mind seeing them come back in Street Fighter V is because they've definitely taken a lot of liberties on the characters. So I could totally imagine Blanca not having a one-frame Blanca ball anymore. You know what I mean? So they would come up with something kind of tricky with him. So it seems like they're willing to stray a little bit from the standard archetype. Like if Honda came back, he could be totally different. Like I could totally see them changing Honda up to a completely different character. So I wouldn't mind seeing a lot of those guys come back. Yeah.
Well, we'll see. Any other thoughts on Karin?
Yeah, like they talked about how there was going to be characters who haven't been back for a while, and they're all from Alpha.
Right.
Every single one. Nash, Birdie, Mika, and Karin are all from Alpha. In fact, someone took the default Alpha 3 character select screen, and not counting Balrog, Junie, and Julie, who are hidden characters, right? They marked which characters were in 4 and 5.
I saw this.
And Saddam was the only character who hasn't come back.
I saw that.
I was like, I'm so sad. Because I liked Saddam.
Yeah, same here. But it wasn't going to be somebody from like Super Turbo, because all those characters were just in 4.
But 3.
Yeah, 3 is the one that's getting left out.
Yeah, 3 I feel like got kind of screwed a little bit, unless hopefully maybe they count Alex not as one of those characters that hasn't been back in a while because he was in Tatsunoko versus Capcom or Capcom Fighting Jam or something like that.
Same with Urian, I guess.
Yeah.
Jam.
Oh, that's right. He was there as well. So, like, I don't know. Like, to me, Street Fighter 3 seems highly neglected.
Yeah.
And I've talked about it before. I'm not a big fan of the characters or whatever, but I even think that that's wrong. Like, I was certain Alex, like deep in my heart, I was like, Alex has to be one of the characters that's coming back. Like, I would have bet good amount of money on Alex coming back, and I would have lost a lot of money unless.
Well, we'll see, I guess. Yeah. But at this point, I feel like his role is taken. You know, like I feel like, especially now that they've said Nikali is a charge character, right? I feel like that's Alex.
Yeah, I guess it's true, huh? Because he's command throw,
and sort of charge-based pressure and whatever. But even on top of that, like several characters have command grabs. A bunch of characters are pressure characters. Like Alex's role, I feel like is already well taken. So.
Someone says he's blonde.
He is.
So that's a
good
plus
evidence.
for him.
That is. Makes it more likely. And I don't know. I'm hoping to see more out of Karin that disabuses me of the idea that she just is a sort of
rushdowny, frame trappy.
Yeah, that she seems very much the same as a few of the other characters in the cast. I don't think that's the case for all the SF5 characters at all. I think some of them are very unique, which I really like. It's not just Rashid, but it's some of the others too. And what they did with Ryu to make him more interesting, great. Bison, more interesting again. You know, I feel like that's really good.
See, I even thought Chun-Li was like the prototype for that, but she's not. Like, from what I discovered. And that's the reason why I don't like Cammy so far, because she is the prototype of that close-up, I'm in your face frame trap kind of character. Yeah. So she's like kind of the theme of Street Fighter. That's why I've told everybody she seems like the best character to start. Like if you're new to the game, Cammy actually feels like the best character to start with, to be honest with you, because she's going to teach you all of the Street Fighter V fundamentals. You know, whereas, like you said, a lot of other characters have cool things, like Ryu has the Denjin mode. Yeah. Even her V-trigger is not even that interesting, so...
Yeah. But I feel like Karin seems like she's very much in that mold, and it's sort of disappointing to me that the interesting part of her, which was the Rekka series, right? That is now sealed off behind V-trigger. Right. And I don't know how often that's going to come up.
Although I did hear from, it might have been from K-Brad or PR Rog, because obviously they were in Japan when she was revealed and they got to see her and everything, that they said the V-trigger meter apparently lasts a really long time after you activate it. So after you activate it, maybe your whole goal is to get into that mode, so you play her by trying to land this thing all day so you can get into it, and that would actually be kind of cool. Like if they actually made it so that her normal mode was kind of weaker, but her like Rekka mode is kind of OD, you know what I mean? That could be an interesting.
That would be more interesting.
The character. Yeah. Okay.
Anyway.
Other thing that, you know, we kind of hinted at, we mentioned it very briefly, but along with the announcement of Karin, they also had another announcement that, in my opinion, was kind of a bigger deal than Karin. and that is because nobody knew it was coming,
right.
and it seems like a really huge important thing, and that was the Capcom Fighting Network, the CFN as they called it.
Yeah.
Logo and name pending. That's a little asterisk.
That's awesome.
Next to it. But yeah, apparently they're working really hard to develop this really huge online network, and the pictures, which also had the asterisk, not final, blah blah blah, showed like a world map, and they showed where battles are taking place and like where some of the hotbeds are and everything like that. And if they can tie that into the esports aspect of Street Fighter, so that it'll even highlight tournaments where they're happening and like show all these things, and you can like just see matches happening in an area and go, hey, I feel like watching this, or collecting stats. I mean, I've always said that the online experience in fighting games have all been crappy, because it's like, let's go to a lobby, let's do ranked, let's just play somebody, and it's like, it's not an experience. And if Capcom Fighting Network is like stat collecting, does all the stuff, shows more things, like picks rivals for you, like who are certain skill levels and stuff like that, like that to me could mean the difference between Street Fighter V going, oh, okay, that's cool, a new fighting game, and this is the most amazing thing ever. Okay. You know what I mean? Because, I mean, let's face it, how mean have we been to Mortal Kombat for screwing up the PC launch and for having shitty online code, right? Yeah. We've been pretty brutal to them. And that's true. Any game that has that problem, we would be that brutal too. Sure. So if Capcom was able to do a good job with the netcode and create this great online experience, that to me is super important.
I hear you. Mm-hmm. Yeah, certainly with MK, I was hoping that a lot of that sort of similar stuff would come in once they announced how their online was going to work before it actually was playable. We knew that there was going to be like faction battles and sort of all these things where you had to play against the towers that changed all the time, and it sounded like there was a lot of stuff that could keep you hooked that was not in other games. And then it turned out that the online was so bad that it didn't matter. So it's probably not going to be the case with SF5, but it's certainly it's been a problem for other games, so hopefully they learn from that.
I mean, it seems
like they have.
It sounds like they're trying to do a lot of things, actually, that I guess they're learning from a lot of past mistakes, right? There's two things. One, I just remembered from what you said, and I can't remember what it was now because that's how old man brain works. But one of the things that Matt Dahlgren apparently mentioned in an interview, he's like, there will be no on-disc DLC. Right. Which I like, because someone responded to me on Twitter, was like, what a great way to win favors from people by doing absolutely nothing different than not really changing anything. Because it's true, you're just doing what you're supposed to do, and whether it's on disc or not, who cares? But you know, because it's just going to be the same way. But it still makes it sound that much better. It does, yeah. There's a nice PR aspect to that. Yeah, for sure. Considering what happened with Street Fighter Cross Tekken. Yeah, obviously. And we saw what happened. That and the timeouts probably killed Cross Tekken more than anything. Yeah, I know a lot of people, in fact, aren't you one of them, who thought that 2012 ended up being pretty good, but the previous version of the game, where the DLC problems and stuff, just threw it off for you? Well, that and other things. Other things, other things about Cross Tekken I wasn't into all that much, but I remember the other thing now that I wanted to mention about Street Fighter V. They actually said, although they haven't announced when, but the next beta section is going to be cross-platform. Yes, that's right. That's right. We know it's going to be in the fall. Fall's pretty close now. Well, actually, isn't it now? Yeah, it was like yesterday. Yeah, that's true. That's true. So sometime in the near future, presumably. And some of these sort of beta runs that they have been very little in the way of warning. It's like here it is. Yeah, like the first official beta was like they announced it a little bit in advance, but then after that, when they were like doing the fix 'em up beta afterward, it just happened. Yeah. So I wonder if it'll be very quick like that. I don't know. We'll have to see. I mean, I feel like it was quick like that because remember, a lot of people, I think what they had forgotten is that when they update the game, the PlayStation 4 downloads it for you automatically. So a lot of people were just like, wait a second, I just got a new download. Let me turn it on and see what happens. And some people got in like randomly, and I think they were probably like, oops. hey, guess what, guys?
Yeah, okay.
Come and play.
It kind of did seem like that, I guess.
So hopefully they announce it a little bit more. But the cool part about it is, in my opinion, the main aspect of it is now PC players get to play the beta. And I think that's exciting because a lot of people are planning just to get the game on PC.
Sure.
And
especially with that announcement that it's $45 if you pre-order it.
oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
I didn't see that.
It's on. It's on. Sure, you can find the news story yourself.
Oh,
but
okay, cool.
Yeah, $45 if you pre-order for PC. So
Dang.
yeah, it's definitely. It seems like a good deal. I'm thinking about getting it myself, just to try it out, and I don't know. I feel like I should.
I mean, I'd get it for both platforms anyway, but I mean,
Yeah.
I guess maybe it's not even as necessary now because I used to get multiple platforms because just in case I had people want to play me on one console or the other, I could play both
Yeah.
and I could support
Maybe I
them.
don't
But
need
now it doesn't even matter, right?
That's true. I guess.
So,
yeah.
especially if this Capcom Fighting Network thing turns out good. God, I mean, like, I don't want to like hype myself up and like raise too much expectations, but the thing about it is I tweeted this as well, and I have no basis for this. I have absolutely zero. This is one of those James Chen speculation, complete no basis theory comments, but I just feel like a lot of it has to do with Matt Nidell and Peter
It seems like
really doing a good job and really getting them to understand the esports side of things, because Japan so far has not had a good history understanding esports really all that well. And so I feel like they have a lot to do with it. Whether or not they do, I'm sure all three of them are doing awesome stuff. And I just feel like ever since they've gotten more into the control, more in the power with the CPT, the Sony deal, and now Street Fighter V and everything, the way that Combo Fiend demos the game with Mike Ross and everything like that, I just feel like the Capcom USA office has a lot to do with why I'm so excited about Street Fighter V.
I think you're right. I think you're right.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
That's all I have for Street Fighter V. Do you have anything else you wanted to add?
Not about SF5.
Okay. So we've got a ton of events.
We do.
Do you want to take a break first?
We should do that.
Okay.
We should do that. We'll talk about the Fall Classic and Saigon Cup and TGS and Dreamhack and a whole bunch of stuff when we come back.
2 weeks of events.
We're gonna try to keep it quick. All right. We can't be taking forever on this.
Okay. All right. Be right back.